So we're going to start down on the floor or on a bed or on a chair. Okay, so, chairs are great. You can just, sit down. You can get your spine straight by coming to the edge of a chair, depending on what kind of chair you have. But for some people, they just need to try to put both feet flat on the floor, more grounding for the body. And you can just choose your place to be. So sometimes, being on a chair is the way to go. For me, this is one of the only times I sit on the floor. And I've learned that if I use the cushion and I use the blocks, then I can sit. Now, I didn't used to need this. Let's call it the beautiful aging process of the pelvis, that interestingly are the bones that get the thinnest for working with the osteoporosis. And it's where they sort of measure the weakness or strength of your bones. And so it's kind of interesting that it also gets kind of stiff. Many people talk about this. So finding a way to be able to sit as you get older is always a fabulous thing to do. Now, some people are naturally flexible and have been their whole life, and they don't usually need this. So then settle in and just, take a moment to revisit our theme this week, which is the swans. And I encourage you to go out to Findlay if you live nearby, Findlay National Wildlife Refuge, to see the swans before they leave mid to late December. Sometimes they leave pretty early. And there should be about 600 of them out there right now. And one of the things that we work with Swan energy is grace. The grace, a sense of calm and great gracefulness, and being at ease with yourself and others. And you glide through the waters. You glide through the waters of, change. So I just heard someone who's not muted. Okay. So I forgot to tell you, make sure you're all muted. Okay. So gliding through your waters of change and effortlessly moving smoothly with the daily rhythms of life. You're highly intuitive, often to the point of foreseeing the future. A lot of us here are highly sensitive people. And if you imagine or you can feel what the future holds, if you can feel something going on there and you're a visionary, then, it probably is true. There's no way to prove it, but accepting that if you've thought of it, many other people have thought of it also. You shine with an inner beauty and walk through the world with humility and poise. You're very powerful physically and spiritually and are highly protective of your loved ones. So that's a Swan energy. And you call on Swan when you have to deal with a variety of business and social situations that require you to be poised and confident. And how many of us haven't had to do that? You've been so focused on the mundane that you've forgotten about the magic and mystery of life and want to connect with it. You call on Swan when you've forgotten that. You call on Swan when you're out of touch with the beauty inside yourself and others and all around you. And you call on Swan when you're ready emotionally and spiritually for your soulmate and want to manifest that person, in case any of you are at that place. You also call on Swan when you need to defend or protect yourself, your mate, your family, yet you do it in a way where you maintain your composure and calmness. So that's a lot. So take, go into your consciousness and see the swans, and maybe you can even hear the swans. Their beautiful song. And at Findlay, you can have the song of the swans, the variety of ducks, and the Canada geese all together, and it's just a symphony of sound. And then breathe gratitude through your heart for the swans and the swan that you are. Beauty, grace, poise, intuition, um, that place within you that knows the truth. And again, this happened for me on Monday. I said I wanted to put one hand on my heart and the other one right on top of it, because I want to breathe and be so grateful for these moments that the swans are here. They're only here for a short time. And I've never had swans in my life before moving to Oregon. So it's really a blessing to add the swans to all the birds of the East that have been part of my life. You know, and some of you know that my name, Sapora, means bird, and the birds in my shamanic work I've only had power animals that were birds, and now I have the swan. Then take the fingertips together and put them, the thumbs at your heart, and this is to awaken the rainbow inside of you. Now the swans are white light. They're white. They reflect that. All of the rainbow is within that white color. So we're a rainbow, and when we imagine, so closing your eyes and imagine that outside your body, you're shimmering a white light from the red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, indigo blue, and violet. The old Roy G. Biv. Breathe gratitude through the heart, knowing that this gratitude connection through the heart to the brain is going to expand your heart energy 5,000 times that of all the rest of the energy that comes out of your that's in your energy field or is in your aura. And we know that that energy field goes out 5 to 8 feet without trying, but you can spread that out thousands of feet. Imagine yourself as the flower of life, and noticing if you've ever taken the time to look at that symbol as I've been placing it in front of you. Then bring the thumbs to the third eye and remember the deep dark indigo blue, which is both this understanding of there's a tunnel at the end of the light and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And it's always a duality. We play with duality all the time, and we walk the middle way as best we can. So the middle way is be here now in this moment. You don't have to go down the tunnel, and you don't have to go to the light or from the light. You have to be the light. So in being the light, imagination is key. Inspiration every day is key. Intuition all the time. If you have a feeling, an intuitive feeling, it is what you need to follow. It's being able to listen to that. And then integration of all that is, everything that comes in, integration of what you have gathered as collected wisdom all your life. Then tap the top of your head. We've done this a million times, but remember that we are much bigger than this. And at this time in history, the human is expansive. The understanding of life is expansive. We are making a huge humanity shift. It will have its difficulties and its bright lights. And with this, we open to the color opal, which is at the very top. The divine matrix, the divine chakra, the divine understanding of all that is placing everything together that we know. And it's the color opal. And if you think of that color opal, notice how many colors are within the opal. And notice how the opal shines, shimmers, is translucent and solid both at the same time. And then bring your hands together at your heart. A little namaste for yourself, welcoming and honoring that you've taken the time out to do this practice. And welcoming and honoring all the other sisters that have been part of our group during COVID, after COVID, and now as we make a transition to our going into the third year, we're having 2 years behind us of a big shift in humanity. And then release that. And then shake out your legs. And I told you on Monday that we would be doing more standing today, and we will. We're going to do the dancing warrior and some salutation work. But first, what happened to me for the last week is I lost my core. Did you know that when you don't exercise, you actually lose the strength within 7 days? So I could feel that. And so we're going to do a little core strengthening. First, I'm just sort of loosening my pelvis. Then coming down to the floor, or if you need to be on a bed or a chair, you're figuring it out a little bit for yourself, and pulling the knees in. So if you're on a chair, you certainly can pull one knee in at a time. Beds are easy. Couches are easy if you're lying down. And roll the knees in a circle so you can massage the sacrum, sacred part of the body, connecting the base of the spine. And so many traditions say in this base of the spine, in this triangle, fused triangular part of the spine. And you can look at it as one of the strongest forms in the universe is that triangle. And yes, we have this little tailbone that reminds us that we've had an evolution in our bodies. And we can massage that area, and that sacroiliac joint is one that that sacrum that comes into the rest of the spine, that comes into then the lower body, always is a one that's tender. So we work with it tenderly, with some kindness, and just send that kindness to your spine. Then pull the knees in, open the knees wide. I'll try to do different postures than we did on Monday. Every day I'll try to do a little bit of different postures. Roll the ankles and stretch open those legs. Lift the head up if you want. That begins that abdominal process and into reclined frog. Flex the feet, spread the fingers, and think of the amphibians and honor the amphibians. They're having a hard time. And then knees come in. Again, pull them in. Shake them out, shake the arms and the knees and the legs out in dead bug posture. And then roll the ankles and the wrists. So we want to honor the insects. They've been the most successful on the planet of the animal kingdom. They're so small, and with that exoskeleton, they can figure out how to live in so many different tiny little places that there's more insects and more insect orders than any other animal on the planet. And then reach up and reach the head up, then switch legs and tap. And if you're getting the head up, you can, if it doesn't work for you, just have it down, and you can see that you can do that head down, but you're lifting and side to side, and exhale. You'll see this is sort of like that knee to elbow we do, but it's different. And then hold one side and hold the other side. And then let the head and neck rest. Cross the ankle over it, stretching that hip again, like I did when I was seated. But this time you have an option. If you're seated on a chair, just right ankle over the left knee. You can come to thread the needle, which is lacing the fingers behind the knee, or using a strap or hands on top of the knee, or you can pull in. And what I'm going to do is add the abdominal piece, lengthen out the left leg, lift the head up, and point and flex. So now I'm doing a little fitness yoga. This is the strengthening of the quad, which is needed for our knees. So with me and my knee injury, I'm always strengthening the quad, and I'm stretching the hip. So I'm doing that. Now, if my neck was hurting, hand behind the head, right hand. And then hold for a moment, take a breath, and then let it go. And then other side, just feel what happens there when you release. I love that feeling of the release of that. Then left ankle over the right knee. Again, you can just be here. You can put your foot on a block. We've done this a lot. You can put your foot up on a block or on a wall or on the edge of a couch. That naturally brings the knee up and in, and you naturally stretch that left hip. So Then if you want to add the core strengthening, then lengthen out the right leg, pull the right, put the right hand on the left foot and the left hand on the left knee, lift the head if you can, and raise and lower. Now, if you can't, just put your head down on the floor or put your left hand behind the head. You'll see that you'll have to connect that core strength a little bit more if you put your left hand behind the head, because that left hand helps give your shoulders support and you're not using your core as much. And then hold. And then let it go. Lengthen out the body. Now, if you haven't been able to be on the floor or you're not feeling up to this, you can still stretch yourself out from the heels of the hands to the heels of the feet and hold your breath. Oh, really stretch. And maybe side to side, maybe right side, left foot, maybe, just play with it a little bit. And then release. Ha, ha, ha. Then feet flat on the floor. Ah. And press into the feet and come up. Now, again, if you are on a bed, it's a little soft to do these. And if you're on a chair, do cat-cow. This is one for moving the spine. Press into the feet and come up. If you want a little stronger practice, bring the feet, knees and thighs together. That's the Pilates practice. And if you want to have a gentle practice today, just grab a block or cushion and put it right under the sacrum and just hang out there in restorative yoga, the bridge, using the block. Inhale up, exhale down. You can use the arms or not. And again, if you put your knees, feet, and thighs together, you're actually working those inner thighs a little bit more. Pilates just took yoga and it created, a practice that is a little bit more vigorous and engages the muscles in a little deeper way, which actually led to the development of fitness yoga. Now, the next time you come up, hold the posture. And then pulse the hips to the ceiling, towards the ceiling. So you're working the back body core. So you're strengthening the glutes, which help hold the front and back in balance. And then hold for a moment. Bring your arms down by your sides. Come up onto your toes. Just check it out. It's all just being here now in the moment with the body you have, and lower down. Pull the knees in. Take a deep breath in and out. And then one more for the core, a little bit more advanced than anything we did on Monday. What we're going to do is lift the head, and we're going to do the breath pattern for the Pilates 100. Now, your knees can be bent. You can have them down on the floor. You can just pump the arms as you press into the lower back. That would be gentle, gentle, super gentle. Then lift the feet up, head still down on the floor. Then lift the head up, and your arms are pumping. So it's a whole body engagement here. Maybe one hand needs to hold your head. You can find out what you need. Then you can lengthen the legs. And the breath pattern is five breaths in, 5 breaths out, in and out of the nose or in and out of the mouth. So it's a and then hold the posture for a moment. Don't hold the breath, and then pull the knees in. It's called the Pilates 100. You're going to do it at your own pace, with your own pace in your breath. You're going to figure out how you can start to learn this one. So again, head can be on the floor, knees up, and you're just pumping the arms and doing the breath. You can bring your head up and you can go slower. And you can also just do the count of 3. So hold then, and then come down. So you have to decide, how am I going to learn this one? And you may want to Google it just to learn the Pilates 100 and see how it is, or you may want to repeat this video when it goes up online. Now to our feet. So up to the feet through coming up, rocking yourself up or rolling to the side, and then hands and knees. And it's almost like a, oh, it's relaxing. Yeah, I just did some core strengthening. I felt what was going on. Now here, remember, cat cow, simple, straightforward, something to do every day. You can do it on the chair. Oh, you can do it on the floor. Now notice, if you can, when you are in one position, perhaps as cat, you can feel the front surface of the body getting a little bit of a stretch. And when you're in the cow, you can feel like what's going on in the shoulders. You're pressing the hands into the floor or the blocks or a chair. You can have your hands on a chair or a table or the edge of a bed. Just finding the spine. And if you feel like you need it, not holding it, you just do this fluidly. Then back into child from here. For some of us, it means widening out our knees. Others of us, it means putting a cushion on top of the feet. I'm going to go wide knees today. And then I can go down all the way, get onto my elbows. I'm going to use a block for my head. Although, actually, I think I'll use my hands, my thumbs right there, and just hang out here for a moment. Now, when you do it with the knees open, you're going to feel a different stretch than when you do with the knees closed. So take a couple of breaths. Then back up onto the hands, paralleling the knees, and see if you want to come into upward dog. And it's your choice. You can go back and forth. And you can also just go to upward dog and hold, or inhale one direction, exhale the other. My body seems to love the movement, which hence is why I'm a yoga dance teacher. And vinyasa yoga has really worked for me, but it doesn't work for everybody. So you have to choose. And it's the difference between holding postures and putting them into motion. Now I'm going to hold upward dog for a moment so that I can come up to downward dog. Lots of ways to get up. You can go back to hands and knees, tuck the toes, press in and come up, or you can do it from upward dog, and you're in upward dog, you tuck the toes and you come up. Once you're up, you reposition the feet to get the good stretch for the backs of the legs. I know this is hard on your wrists, so if it is, you might have your hands on a chair or on a table, but just do a moment of like working with the legs with the head down between the arms as best you can. Take a breath on each side, a little heel walking, but then hold, see if that works for you to be there. Then walk yourself up to your hands. We've done this a lot. Ragdoll, elbows on the knees, hands up on the knees. So many options here. Hands on a chair. So you're working on, how do I adapt yoga to my own personal body? So what feels best? Some people, actually, what feels best is to go to standing forward bend with the straight legs. For others, this is not good for you. You can see. And then bend the knees and bring yourself up. Bring your arms up. This helps with dizziness. And look up and back. And then hands to the heart. Okay. Breath of joy wakes us up. First, shake out the body. When in doubt, the breath of joy. When in doubt, who doesn't love the name, the breath of joy? So here we go. The breath of joy is 3 breaths and a ha. And that ha breath is really working with opening your visioning and speaking your truth both to yourself and to others. So it's a ha, 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 ha. At your own pace. You don't have to go my pace. Ha. And you can go down further to the floor. Ha, 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 ha. As far down as your body might want you to go, you have to determine, and you have to determine your own pace. And then last time, and hook up, immediately hook up. 3rd finger in the belly button, 3rd finger at the 3rd eye. Then this little section is the energy medicine. This is called the hookup, the central meridian. And this is an energy medicine routine. You tap at the collarbone. This is to get the meridians all kind of going in the right direction, right below the collarbone. Take a breath, and then out to the lung point, which you'll feel it. It's a little sore spot there, out to the side. Then to the sternum. This is part of your immune system. This is for your thymus gland. And you can use your fingertips. You can tap with your hands. You're really working with energy, so you don't even have to touch your body. But it feels good. And then to first rib. I use the side of my hands. This also gets the point on the side of my hands, the meridian point. And this is for your spleen and your pancreas, and to metabolize all your food, your air, and your thoughts, always remembering your thoughts are making a biochemical reaction. Then to the back, and we tap the kidneys and the adrenals. And with this, then we smooth them out. We kind of, ask those adrenals to calm down by 3 brushes. Then go down the leg and up the leg. And remember, we're both kind of jiggling the fascia, and at the same time, we're working the white blood cells here, the lymphatic system. Tap anywhere you can, because that lymphatic system is everywhere, and that's helping to keep us so well and actually get us well if we are sick. Head, shoulders, neck, anywhere you can actually tap, because those white blood cells are in all of those lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes are everywhere. And then just stand and feel the stimulation that you just did on your body. This is only one part of the daily routine that Donna Eden discovered over the last 40 years of teaching it. And one of them is to, rub your hands together, and then cup your hands together. And it's called separating heaven and earth. And you take a deep breath in, and your right hand gets up and your left hand goes down, and you exhale back, and you go the other side, and back, and back, and back, and then shake out the hands and the legs. Half sun salutation. Hands at the heart. Inhale down and up and back. Swan dive down, bend the knees. Straight legs, flat back, look up. Inhale, exhale down. Inhale up and back and to the heart. Now we're going to put the sun salutation a little together with the Dancing Warrior series. Here we go. Inhale down and up and back. Exhale, swan dive down. Bring that swan into your heart. Straight legs, flat back, look up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Hands to the heart, step the right foot back. The arms can come up or down to the heart or behind your back. You know, this is Virabhadrasana 1, grounded into the feet to face anything you need to face, to know that you have the wisdom collected, that you bring it all together in integration, and imagine the new world, and imagine your new life, and imagine what it is that you are wanting. Straighten the front leg, arms come behind you and a flat back and look up. This is both a stretch for the back of the leg, but also it's this posture of, okay, I can do this and I'm looking up. Now you can make it a deeper stretch by looking down at your knee or having your hands on blocks, and you can have your hands on a chair. A chair is really wonderful here, or a wall for a great stretch here. You can always set yourself up on a wall or a chair. And then bring yourself up, knee bends. You're back in Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. The place within you that has been taught that you can make it and you can really, you're solid in what your wisdom has taught you. Then Warrior 2 is, I have a forward motion here. I see kind of my future a little bit, but you have to stand fully present and sparkle your light and be the light in right here, right now. And then there's a past that has affected me, and I have to heal some of that to be able to move forward. And I also have to work with that and work with the wisdom that's been collected from that past. So here we are. Now you want to look down at that knee, and you want to make sure the knee's over the ankle, and the knee, you know, you're not too far forward, you're not too far back. Strengthening the quad a little bit would be go a little bit more forward. You step that right foot back. It's at an angle. It keeps you there a little more stable. Doesn't have to be way back there. Some of you may want that, though. It might feel good. Then look up, and you know what you are. You are the sky. Everything else is the weather. You are the wholeness. You are the oneness. Then lateral angle gives you a new perspective. And this is the gentle form, hand on the knee, elbow on the knee, down on the floor, lateral angle. Okay, so you've got lots of options here, and you choose which one's right for you. You can also have your hand, again, on a chair or a wall or something on a table. You just form whatever posture you need, and then back up, Warrior 2. Today we're going to do Warrior 3. That's coming forward. You may want to come down onto your waist. This is a balancing posture. You may want to be at a wall. You go onto the left foot and you put the toe on the floor. That's the first part of this. Then you balance. You start to look at the floor. Now your hands can be behind your back. Your hands can be at your heart. Your hands can be over your head. You decide. And then on the wall, it's here. Or on a chair. Now, if you can point the toe down and the heel up, then you have the warrior. But you can also just do it gently. And you go, balance, balance. You just lift that foot up a little bit and look at the floor. Then come back. Warrior 3. Warrior goddess. Okay, so bending the knees, arms open up. And today we're going to do the lion's breath. I love the lion's breath that comes together with this one. So you take a deep breath in, and it's a guttural sort of breath. Your tongue sticking out. And it's another one of these, like, okay, I'm going to let it out. I'm not going to hold it any longer. All the ick, all the things holding me back, all the fear, all the stuff I'd like to clear out. And I'm going to be in my power, like the power of a lion. So inhale, stick your tongue out, and last time. And then 5-pointed star. Okay. Feel the clearing. Perhaps you're feeling it. Yeah, you saw what I did naturally. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Ah, wow. Then 5-pointed star. Send the energy out of the new world, the new earth, the vision of beauty, of oneness, of humanity rising. Then drop the arms down and come to the floor with maybe a block, or put your hand on a chair. So your hands, the chair is always, it's always nice to have a chair in your space that you can, do this with. You come to wide legged and you go side to side with the knees, or you're on a block, side to side, and you stretch the inner thighs this way. It's a slightly different way to stretch. Or your hands can be on the floor. And then hold one side and hold the other side. And then come to the center and just look and get an upside down view of the world. And then bend the knees and come up back into Warrior Goddess, back into 5-pointed star. Then you just shift the feet the opposite direction. If that doesn't work for you, then just step the left foot back. The opposite direction, grounding into the feet again. Virabhadrasana 1, arms, hands at the heart, behind you, above your head. I know where I'm going, and I know I am powerful, just as I am. And I know that I am important, and I am changing the world just by what I hold in my heart, and that nothing else is needed. Straighten the front leg, arms come behind me, and I look up. I'm humbled a little bit about that power that is inside of me. And I look down at the earth, connecting to the earth, feeling the stretches that are there. And then I look up with a flat back, with my arms behind me still. And then knee bends, and I'm back up into Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Virabhadrasana 2, past, present, future. Past, I need the past for the gathered wisdom. I need the future, the vision for where I'm going. You can, heal the world one heart at a time. Then lifting up, stretch up into looking at the sky. Oh, I'm the sky. Everything else is the weather. Just remember that. Then down to the side. Lateral angle gives me a new vision, a new information. Let me look at it differently. You can have your hand on a chair. One knee is bent, so you can do it freestanding or on a chair. Then back up. Then back to 5-pointed star. And drop the arms down, roll the shoulders. Oh, I forgot. Here we go. One more posture. With your left foot back. It's the Warrior 3. I forgot to do it because we don't do it a lot. So Warrior 3, one of the more difficult standing postures. So you can just put your toe back there and stand with your arms to your heart, or you can lift it, look at something not moving, and you can totally do the best you can for balancing and looking down. And you can also have support of a chair, heel points up, toe points down, or you could have support of a wall. And you'll just see, we haven't done this a lot. Just see what your body will do with it. And we'll practice it again, maybe on Friday. Then come back and back and back. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to the heart. With an ah. Remember that ah sound opens the heart. And then drop the chin to the chest. Feel the curve of the cervical spine as you start to inhale, exhale, bring yourself down one vertebra at a time, and notice where the knees bend. Now, if you seated in a chair, just fold over onto that chair. back into downward dog just for a moment, because it's just such an important posture. Down to the knees, and and over on your back, down to the knees, over on your back. And before we go into a final posture, work this a little bit with the cerebral spinal fluid balancer, which is gentle push off from the feet. Everything else just rocks. And I put my hands up here in the air so that you could see that I'm not doing anything. The arms even are doing this on their own. I'm just sort of gently putting them in the air, but you can put them down, and you're rocking from the sacrum to the center of the skull. You're actually just putting that cerebral spinal fluid into a rhythm. And it gets out of rhythm when we get affected, body, mind, and spirit, from whatever might be in front of us that it's affecting us. Even the news, and even, we're holding today Iris in our hearts for her recovery, and for the trauma that that family has felt, the Benton family, Iris Benton. And then slow that down. And today I'm going to take the block. You can go to the wall if you want and put your legs up the wall, or take the block and bring yourself up. And you can just be here in gentleness. If you want, you can go into the reclined goddess that we did on Monday. But in the world of shaking it up, this is one for today. Bringing the legs up is just very similar to legs up the wall. You can also go into shoulder stand if that's your pleasure. I'll show you what it is, just so you remember. You have to really press into your hands and bring yourself up. Take your hands, hold the hips, and the elbow to the shoulder forms a triangle, very strong. And this is full shoulder stand, or it's actually half shoulder stand. Full shoulder stand comes up higher, but you have to be able to come up and down with grace and ease. And then here is the supported shoulder stand with the block. Now, some people can turn that block on the edge. That works for some people. Not everybody. Depends how your back bend wants to be. Now, they say that inversions, the study of inversions and how gravity works upon the body, that it's good, just like we live in a world of duality in a lot of other ways. To bring the feet up is good for the body, to bring the whole torso up. And that's why they have these machines, or these kind of things you hook your feet in, and then you can turn your whole body upside down. Now, while you're here, there's always the option to stay still, or the option to play with the legs and feel gravity pull the body in a different way. Point and flex and roll ankles and wrists, or just be still and let yourself feel that kind of floatiness of the legs as the weight of the body is not on the legs, and you're feeling gravity pull the fascia of your body in a different direction. And then what I'm going to do is place my feet flat on the floor, and then one at a time lengthen out my legs. Just feel the back bend in this position. Again, you have to just know what your body can and cannot do. You are in charge. And we do so many postures in this class, you can always skip some and stay in one posture for longer. And while you're there, just keep breathing. Inhale and exhale. Noticing what happens with the breath in each of the different postures. Sometimes it's easy to forget the breath in some of the postures. And in other times, like this one, it just feels like my chest is so open, just like in the reclined goddess with the cushion. Then pressing into the feet and taking the block out, if you were with me on that or whatever you're doing, and just coming into Shavasana, the grounding into the earth, feeling the simplicity of this posture. Now, if your body would rather be lengthened out the legs, then lengthen the legs out. And if it feels a little unusual, you might try putting a cushion underneath your knees. Otherwise, widen the feet out, prop the knees together. It's called constructive rest. Notice where the head and neck rest when you do this posture. And if it actually is a rest, some people's heads tilt back. Some people can get their head right with the back of the head on the floor. You just want to find something that feels like you're not holding anything up. Relax everything that is present to you, from the toes to the top of the head, out to the fingertips. And breathe an image of relaxation to the whole body. Let the body feel gravity, get a little heavier. Gentle, comfortable breath with no effort, effortless breath. Resting the eyes, just resting them into the eye sockets, and the forehead is relaxed. Relax the jaw by opening the mouth as though a grain of rice can sit between the teeth. Feel the silence and the stillness. And bringing the hands together at your heart. Taking a moment to honor the earth changes, sending a blessing to the earth. May we have peace, and may what we do here go out onto the world and make more peace. Peace, shalom, salam, pak shanti, pache mir, maluhia, Riden, hung sang. May we have peace, and may what we do here go out onto the world and make more peace. Then you're welcome just to stay here and not move. I know for me, sometimes I can get lost in Shavasana and just want to be there. I'm going to lengthen my legs out and then roll over to my side. Take a breath. Walk myself up into mermaid position. Very natural position if your body likes this position. Onto hands and knees. Today I'm just going to walk myself up from downward dog and bring myself up and back into my heart to ground. Thank you for being here. Many blessings on your day.